Hi, I'm Brandy McDonald. I'm an entertainment and features writer for Oklahoman and NewsOK.com, and I am here with some of the cast and crew of 50 to 1, the movie. The inspirational sports drama is opening on Friday here in Oklahoma, and I have with us Jim Wilson, who is the director and producer and co-writer, and Jamie McShane, he's one of the actors, and Faith Conroy is the co-writer and co-producer. Thank you guys for coming in and crowding onto our couch today.
Feels good. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. I understand you guys are on a crisscrossing the country bus tour with this film, so talk to us a little bit about what you guys have been doing since you got to Oklahoma.
Well, we are. We are first on a cross-country tour that started in New Mexico, which is largely where this story started, and we're kind of mimicking the trail that the trainer took with his horse up to Kentucky. Mm-hmm. So we're on our way. Here we are in Oklahoma, and yesterday we had a great day. We're at Remington Park. We're out there with the real Mind That Bird came, and so fans came to see the champion there. And then we spent earlier in the day we were out at the museum, the Cowboy Museum, which was fantastic. That was quite a sight. So we're seeing the sights along with seeing the people, which is wonderful.
Okay, Faith, why don't you talk to us about what 50 to 1 is about, the film?
You bet. 50 to 1 is about the 2009 Kentucky Derby winner, Mind That Bird, his owners and trainer, and the journey that they took from Roswell, New Mexico, finding out that they qualified for the Derby, and then trailering their horse across the country to get there, the decisions that were made in order to go at all. They didn't want to embarrass themselves because Bird hadn't been winning since they bought him, but they went anyway, and they made history. That's a great story.
Well, I think you two had decided, you and Jim had decided to make a film pretty much from what I've heard right after the Kentucky Derby was run, because that was a pretty memorable Derby.
No, it's true. I tell you, I think we were just sitting watching at home on the couch, and the race came up, and this little horse that I'd already handicapped the race, and I'd already chalked him off. He wasn't going to run well. But I saw a race. I own horses and have raced horses for over 20 years, but I saw a race that just blew me away. I mean, visually, to have a horse pinched at the start and fall 30 lengths back, and he was off the TV screen. That's how bad it was. I mean, you're literally watching, and it's like, where is this horse? And to run what he did was just astounding. And so at the end of that race, both Faith and I said, I hope there's something more to this story, meaning you have a great horse and you ran a great race, and 50 to 1, that's a lot of fun, but you need great characters as well, obviously, to fill it out. So the quick call was to the owners and the trainer to find out more about these guys, and would they allow us to come into their lives and access it and interested in the movie, and fortunately they were. Yeah.
Now, you guys had a lot of, I guess, cooperation and a lot of interaction, it seems like, with the real life people involved, and these are some pretty colorful characters, I think.
They're very colorful characters, and we've become family.
Absolutely.
I mean, it is so much that way. I mean, we went down to Roswell, New Mexico, and we spent time with Mark Allen. We'd stay at his house, we'd go out and dinners and drinks and parties, and you just get to know him. And Leonard Block, the veterinarian as well, who's his partner, and then Chip Woolley, the trainer. So I'd go in the early mornings and get a cup of coffee down in Sunland Park, and so we spent a tremendous amount of time really researching this and getting to know these guys. And they're terribly colorful and beautifully flawed, as we all are, and you find out right off the bat that these two guys, Chip and Mark, met in a bar fight, and one came to the other one's aid. And so we looked at each other and said, that's the way to start a movie.
Exactly.
And you've got to start with a good old bar fight.
It does.
So,
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's exactly why you make the film, you know.
Jamie, do you want to talk about playing a real life story, real life character in the film, and what part you play?
I played Dave Cody, who was a guy who owned Mind That Bird up around Toronto, up in Canada there, and he sold Bird to Chip Woolley and to Mark, and his idea was to buy low and sell high, and that's what he did. He bought Bird for about $9,000 and sold him for about $400,000.
Yeah, 95.
Nice job.
Yeah.
It was a great payday.
You seem like a smart guy.
Yeah.
And just
he scored too.
Yeah, just that was his business. That's what he does, and that's what he did. And then this horse went on to win. So.
How did you guys feel about going and shooting at Churchill Downs? Because I understand that you guys get to do that, and for horse people, that's kind of hallowed ground.
Oh, yes.
Well, it is hallowed ground. I mean, the first call to them is always a little scary, because if they initially say, oh, we're not interested, they didn't. They were very interested, and they said, come on out. So it took several trips to go out and I met with the board. I mean, you sit with the board a little bit, and what helped is not only that that I'm a horseman. I think it helped that for 25 years I've been racing. So I said, look, I know what to do. I've been around the track. I know my way. We're going to use the real jockey, Calvin Borel, in the movie, which is amazing for them. They said, wow, you got Calvin to participate. I said, you bet. Calvin's on board. And with that, they said, you know, go for it. So usually they give you, I mean, Secretariat and Seabiscuit, I said, well, how long did they get here? Because they both shot there. They said, well, 3 days, maybe 4 for one of them. And I said, I can't do it in that amount of time. I said, I need 9 days. I mean, I need 9 full days to do everything we need to do. And I'm just recreating a portion of one day. But the detail that I wanted, and the authenticity and stuff, so they gave me everything I needed. So it's amazing to be in that winner's circle, because they only allow one horse in that winner's circle once a year, and that's for the Derby. They don't use it for any of the races during the year. So you're walking in there and you're recreating this moment. It's pretty stunning. So yeah, I wouldn't have done it if we hadn't had Churchill, because I'm not a huge fan of computer generated material, and you could shoot it in LA in some back lot.
Right.
But when you're there at Churchill Downs, you know it. And as a director, I want to put myself in the best position to shoot the best film, and that's to be in the real place.
So how did you guys recreate some of those race scenes? Authenticity seems like it was really important to you guys, to shoot in real places, to have the real jockey. So how did you guys recreate some of those race scenes on a limited budget?
Well, there's a number of races, and so for me, I've done a lot of documentaries on horse racing and sports in general. So it was a mixture, and I haven't seen this done previously, so it was a mixture of real footage cut with footage that I wanted to augment moments. So for instance, there would be a race, so the luck of it is that this took place all in 2008, 2009, during that 8-month period. And so I went to the rights holder and I bought the rights to footage, and the footage is this beautiful HD stuff, which I'm sure you're shooting as well. So that stuff holds up. I took it to Hollywood, all the races that Mind That Bird had, and I took it to Hollywood and I put it up on the big Technicolor screen, and I looked at all the specs, and then I got lenses and cameras that lended itself so I could blend whatever I shot with what was existing. And so you just never seen that. I mean, no one's done a film this quickly. This happened less than 5 years ago. So, and here it is out in theaters. So it's, as I say, I didn't recreate, obviously, every moment of the race. And the Derby was so special, I didn't want to recreate it. I mean, as much as I could use the real thing, you should. So luckily, I had a network that said, here's 13 hours of footage over that given day. So I've got these amazing close-ups in slow motion, these horses pounding through the mud, and to recreate that you couldn't do on this budget. And I also think the effect of the real footage intercut with the stuff I wanted to highlight works better anyway. I mean, I'll put it up against any racing, you know, you've seen before on the big screen. And it's the reason to see it on the big screen is that moment where this horse puts the move on, you can't see on a television. I mean, you're just never going to get the effect. It's ridiculous. So worse yet on your iPhone. So get to the theater is what I'm saying, because it really does remarkable. Make it. It's the only reason I would have done this for TV happily, but not when you see what a horse does on the big screen.
Yeah, that's an amazing moment.
It brings so much emotion. It still gets all of us, and not only did we write it, and he directed and produced, and we were all on set and acting, these people acting it out, and yet you see this thing and it really gets you. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything else you want us to know about the movie?
I have hours.
I condense it to like a couple minutes.
I think it's important to talk about, you know, the whole point of what these guys did and what it represents. I mean, they were dreamers, and they were dreaming big, and they didn't know that this would happen for them, but they were willing to get out there and try. And you know, that's a message I think for everyone in life, to get out there and, you know, if you have a dream, go out there, go for it. And if you don't, you won't ever get there. And you know, there's magic in the world. And what happened on that day in May in 2009 is unbelievable. I mean, if you watch, when you see this race, you just, for those who never did see it, it's mind-blowing that this was even physically possible. You see this horse, it's, you know, almost 30 lengths back. He's not even on television during the race because he's so far back, people forgot about him. And they just didn't want to be last. And they believed that they were there to have a good time together, their family, and they joined together and they went to this race. And look at what happened. And you know, if that can happen, anything can happen. And it is about dreaming big. It's about getting out there and trying.
Especially when you see the journey they had to get to that place. And once they got there, how they were such fish out of water.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they just did not belong there. And then their horse is dead last when it comes out. And it just typifies, you know, you shouldn't be here, your horse shouldn't be here, you didn't do anything. And all of a sudden the horse takes off. And it's amazing. And it's amazing the beauty of seeing these guys and women who struggled for a dream across the finish line first. Pretty amazing.
All right. Well, if you guys want to see 50 to 1 in theaters here in Oklahoma, it opens on Friday, the 11th, and we'll have a lot more on newsok.com and in the Oklahoman. Thanks very much for coming in, guys.
Thanks for
Thanks
you.
for having us.